Well, hello, everybody, and welcome again to another edition of Give Us Five. And we're blessed again today to have a young leader with us, Nathan Kerr, and of Kerr Surveying. And Nathan, if you could explain to the audience what is Kerr Surveying all about?
Yeah. Hey, I'm Nate. Kerr Surveying's been in business for 40 years. I bought the business from my father, the founder, about 6 years ago. Uh, our vision is to be the largest culture first land surveying firm in the state of Texas and beyond, because Texas is basically its own country at this point, or at least that's what we believe. And so that's not bean bags and pool tables. That's not just food in the fridge like at Google. I'm talking about taking care of our clients, taking care of people, and doing that in such a way that is innovative to the industry, to where it builds people up so they can have a future in this industry. They feel successful and they can go home and be with their family and create a better culture in our United States.
Okay, that is a wow and refreshing in this day and age of a lot of folks that think about life in a different way. Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get started. And the first question for you, Nate, is what motivates you to pursue your profession? But more importantly, you're a leader. So what moved you to be a professional leader?
Yeah, that's a journey question. So I'll give a little bit of backstory. It's helpful. So I grew up in this industry. My dad owned this company for about 34 years. So I grew up in this. My father, Brad Kerr, he founded Kerr Surveying in 1986. So naturally, as I grew up, I was working here in the summers. I liked it fine. It was nothing I ever planned on doing. Planned against it, honestly. So never thought I'd pursue surveying as a career. I was actually into music, education, even was planning on being missionary at one point, and most of those things could have worked out, I guess, but I found that God was calling me elsewhere. My enjoyment for music was being disturbed by the amount of practice, and the industry itself was not what I was looking for. And so eventually I landed back at Kerr Surveying in my young adult years, and still a young adult, I guess, but a little over a decade ago. And I, as I spent more time at Kerr Surveying and going to school part time and then full time, I realized, wow, I was really built for this. This industry, this job fits all the ways my brain works. The problem solving nature, the interest in history, the math, heavy trigonometry, geomatics, all the things that go into making surveying what it is, very much fit my personality and the way my brain worked, the way God designed me. So I decided to further pursue that in my early 20s and desired to become a registered professional land surveyor in the state of Texas. And so I decided to get a degree in land surveying. And as I was going through that whole process, I learned about a whole bunch of other companies, because obviously I'd been at Kerr Surveying for quite some time. And it was just a mom and pop shop. We had less than 10 employees, um, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But as I started to become more aware of other companies and the things that were going on there and across the industry, it became I became very aware of industry issue. People were being held down. Uh, so, in the words of Bird Baggett, it is not green and growing in a lot of ways. I've heard him say that quite a bit. And so, no room for upward mobility. The average age of a registered professional land surveyor, so the person who does the signing and sealing of all the products for any boundary determinations in the state of Texas, the average age is approximately 59 years old right now. That that's very close to retirement age. That means that there are not disciples being made below to backfill this industry. And if anybody lives in Texas or any state that has private rights of land ownership, people care about their properties. They care about where their boundary lines are. And if we start to have an aged profession that has no backfill, there will be no regulation, and it will have to be placed in somebody else's hands. And surveying has a lot of nuance. It is not an exact science. And so with this problem I saw, I I wanted to change it. I just didn't know how. I didn't know if it was me. I just wanted to be a part of the answer. And one of my friends, the late Steve Tinkle, he helped spark a desire in me to develop that vision for the largest culture first land surveying firm in Texas and beyond, because those that innovate bring the industry up. I mean, even if we talk about Google reviews, most surveying companies don't focus on that. But if you do, or other companies, if a competitor decides to start getting very heavy on Google reviews, they get a lot of web traffic. Well, the other competitors need to either die and not get more Google reviews, or they decide this is important to people that buy our services. And so we need to start having people give reviews. I know that's small and maybe not important to some people, but those are little things that our industry needs. We need to jump into the 21st century in a lot of ways. And so I think we have started some of that, and I know there are other firms that are interested in doing that, but that is where this motivation came from, the lack of growth, even at our own company. I mean, I quit Kerr Surveying twice. I did. And by the grace of God, me and my dad were able to work things out, and we are where we are today. So
That's great. That is super. All right. Well, listen, there's a long list of traits and attributes associated with good leaders. I wonder if you might have 3 to 5 that are very important to you.
yes, I do. I could probably list like 30, I'm sure, but some of the top ones are serving your coworkers or the people that you lead, knowing that you're not the most important person. Everyone is just as important as the next person. We're all on the same footing in front of God. So that would be my number one. 2, being an effective listener, not a big talker. Honestly, this is something I still need a lot of work on, but hearing people out before interrupting and shutting down any ideas, because people just want to be heard more than anything. People want to be heard when they're bringing something to you or just talking to you about something. Not everybody needs an idea fixed or a problem fixed. They more so want to be heard, and you can ask if you can fix their problem or red team their issue. So this holds true even if their idea doesn't get chosen. They feel much more valued, and that effective listeners definitely have more success. You have to be good at celebrating successes of others and your own, and because it's easy to just move on to the next thing and forget about what we just accomplished. And that's something, in my past I've struggled with as well. But people want to be celebrated. They want to be seen in and outside of work. So it doesn't have to be just work or whatever your organization is. People want to be celebrated for the things that are happening in their own life. That'd be 3. 4, effective at holding people accountable to what they said they would do. Not micromanaging, but managing. People, more often than not, appreciate accountability, even if it makes them squirm a little bit. We all want to do things. We want to do the things we said we were going to do. But sometimes we have a hard time closing the loop on those things because we're human. An effective leader should be helping us close those loops so people can succeed and finish what they set out to do and uphold their word. And then 5, I'm maxing out your 3 to 5 limit there. That I think it's important that a leader is elite at their industry. In particular, even from big to small, even in a small company or even a large company, if a leader cannot or has not done the job of the people beneath them, it's very hard for them to gain the respect of others when they're telling them to do something in a very tight time crunch, if you've never done it yourself. So I think it's really important that if you want to be an elite leader, you need to be elite at the things you do in your industry. And I know some people may disagree with me about that, but I'm not even talking about making it multi-million dollars. It could be just $100,000. I think people that care about what they do and are able to lead the people underneath them into success is good leadership.
Wow. Great answers. Great answers. Well, clearly you've been very successful so far in your professional life. I wonder if you can recall one event, maybe one crucible or one influencing event that kind of was your aha moment, if you will.
Well, I would say work aside, I think having a successful marriage, I don't know if it's an aha moment. I think it's a journey. Having a successful marriage and being a present father is what I'm most proud of. Uh, I this leads my family to the Christ that I believe in, that I want to follow every day, and I think this exudes even in my human nature at work as well. With the people that I work with, I want them to have successful marriages. I want them to have children. I want them to be successful and exceptional parents. That being a parent is one of the most humbling things I've ever had the opportunity of participating in this life. Um,
Indeed.
I can say that without a doubt. That is the most humbling thing, marriage and being a parent.
That's great. Great answer. What are the qualities that you look for in a leader? Whether you're developing somebody or whether you're looking at somebody above you, what are the qualities you look for?
Yeah, I mentioned this before, but do they like to serve people? Do they like it? If not, they're probably not going to have a lot of respect from their people. Maybe they will, but if they do like to serve others, they're going to become a magnet. People want to follow servants, and that sounds really weird, but in my experience, it holds true. Uh, do they want, or do they say what they're going to do? Do they do what they say they're going to do? Do they accomplish the tasks and goals with the people around them that they actually planned on doing? Do they pour into the people around them? And do they help build them up? Because if they do what they say they're going to do, this shows safety. This gives safety to those around them. It's not volatile. It's not chaos. This person, the leader, if they do what they say they're going to do, this shows forward thinking. If they're helping others build them up, if they're building others up and they grow the organization, it shows care and they want to build up and not tear down. Um, and then three, do they apologize for their mistakes or mistreating others? If not, your people will not be open to you. It's very unlikely, and they will not feel safe around you. And I know that's some buzzwords there, but if you can't humble yourself enough to admit when you're wrong or when you've hurt somebody, you're showing everybody that you're not humble enough to show that you're a human. And leaders must be human. They are. I mess up every day. Every single person has an issue every day. We all have something we're bringing with us into our organization that came from home. And if we're not able to admit, like, hey, man, I'm sorry, I totally lashed out on you and you did not deserve that. If you can't say that, you're probably not going to have people that want to stay around you. People like to come along the side of others who are humble enough to see their own faults and work toward bettering themselves. And that's what I've seen.
What a great answer. What would you say to a young person or another person that comes to you and says, Nate, I've been watching you and this is what I want to do. What can you tell me about being a leader? What are your tips? What are your three top tips for pursuing leadership?
Mm, that's a good question. So I like to compare a lot of things to marriage, and I learn a lot through marriage and parenthood. But much like marriage, it's impossible to truly know what you're stepping into, the promises or the responsibilities you're stepping into until you're inside of it. Um, but if it is what you feel God is calling you to, or if you feel led to do something, it's most likely going to be worth it, and it's going to be really hard. You just have to make the leap of faith to step into the mysterious new role. So that's one. Two, it's okay to fail. You're going to fail a whole bunch. And you need to give yourself permission to fail when you set goals too big for, you know, your human abilities. I've had to do this myself with the company as a company goals and my own goals. And you just don't want to risk stepping on other people to get to what you want, something you think you need or think you want. Creating that creates unhealthy expectations. Um, you just need to realize sometimes, and I maybe stepping on some of my other thoughts earlier. Sometimes you can't do the things you thought you could, the things you thought you said you could do, and that's where the humility part needs to step in and say, "Hey, I actually can't do this. I need help." Or I think we need to turn more toward this, and we're going to turn our sights on something a little bit more, uh, something more achievable. So that would be two. Three, this is more like relation to leadership at the workplace. And so I'm using a workplace analogy. It helps that you enjoy what you do. It does. But you don't have to be in love with the thing you do to put in an honest day's work. To be a leader in an organization, even if it's not like making your soul sing, we're sold a lie from Disney and my generation. We're sold a lie that we need to find the thing that makes our soul sing. So we're doing this musical like a cartoon, and it's just the most amazing thing we've ever done. But I just don't believe we all can find that in a job. Um, and but if we do our job well and we lead others into good work ethic and doing the right thing, our society will be better. Our friends will be better. Our soul will be better. Our society needs more work ethic and honest day's work from our leaders. That's what I think.
Great. That is great. Well, I can't let you off the hook. Being a True Growth alumni, I can't let you off the hook and without asking you, would you be willing to share your top five values?
Okay. So I wasn't I man, not as prepared for this. So I might be going outside the true growth model here. So I
That's
apologize for
okay.
that. I did write down my five personal values that I find most important in leading the direction of my life. So number one is my faith in Jesus Christ. It's the basis of all my values. I'm not perfect, but I find my worth in Him and Him alone, not in the things that I do or that others think about me. And then two, family devotion. My family is above my work. And then three, I love order. I love order. Some of the first things that the Bible says is God brought order out of the chaos, and He said it was good. I love order. So bringing order, I feel like that's one of my biggest values. For hard work, I enjoy hard work, and it's hard, and blood, sweat, and tears are real, but I believe it's good. And number five would be dignity. Um, my hope at the end of the day is that I honored everyone I came into contact with. Now I know I won't fulfill that. I'm not perfect, but I want dignity for others and for myself.
Well, that is a great response for somebody that went outside the circle of True Growth. That's perfectly all right. Nate, we can't thank you enough for joining us today and imparting your truly your wisdom and your philosophy about leadership. I'm sure the folks that listen to this will benefit from it.
I
And
appreciate you having me on.
yeah, well, thanks again. Take care of yourself. God bless.
God bless you. Thank you.